Alright, Robocop 3. I'd never seen Robocop 3 before. So to prepare for Robocop 3, I watched Robocop 1 and 2. Uh, and like another trilogy I'm covering a little bit in this IMDb Bottom 100 reviewing thing, I'm going to call it a trilogy because I'm just not going to acknowledge Jaws for the Revenge, is the Jaws franchise. Much like the Jaws franchise, Robocop takes a real steady dive down. Uh, I talked about Jaws 3D recently, and it's amazing watching Jaws, Jaws 2, and then Jaws 3, how it's just a steady descent into the burning rubble that is Jaws 4. Uh, Similarly, Robocop 1, I love. I love Robocop. It's a great sort of squibby B movie, enjoyable. It's enjoyable. Robocop 2 has these little flashes and moments of being clever and interesting, but Robocop 2 has a pretty key flaw in it, and that flaw comes back in a much worse way in 3, and that's child actors. Robocop 2, we are treated to a child who takes over the drug, like, gang whatever in Detroit, and it's one of the dumbest things ever. Um, and then in Robocop 3, that's much, much worse. In Robocop 3, where Robocop franchise just decides to land and burn and explode, we get a lot of really bad things going on. The one thing that is cool is that actually you see the fruition of Delta City. They are, in Robocop 1 and 2, it's teased that they're talking about tearing down Detroit and building a new Detroit, basically, called Delta City. And they tease it a little bit in the background of 1 and 2, and in 3, they're actually doing it. And they've hired these police, mercenaries who are very, very clearly Nazis to clear everyone out, basically. But they say it's for their own protection or whatever. So we get a bunch of really heavy-handed scenes portraying them as Nazis, and even the main bad guy is definitely he looks like he's an SS officer, but wearing white. So this little girl is running around, and her parents get taken off and put in buses, and she hides with the squatters, and the squatters form a resistance and are trying to prevent them from building Delta City. For whatever reason, in 3 days, if they don't clear everyone out of there, they can't build the city. I don't remember why, reasons. So the little girl helps the resistance and apparently is some sort of computer magic wizard. At one point, they're breaking into the police armory, and she hacks into an Ed 209 and makes it as loyal as a puppy. She does this by plugging in her tiny little fake computer thing into its leg, and then reprogramming it. And later on, they don't even bother with the excuse of plugging it into something. She actually, at the very end, we get robot ninjas, and she manages to, through magic, reprogram them to fight each other. It doesn't explain how. She just types on a computer in the corner, and then it happens. So yeah, there's some bad computer magic in this, but there's also bad child acting. And she really is. Robocop's not the lead of this movie. She is. This kid is the lead of this movie. Why isn't it Robocop? Couldn't tell you. In fact, Robocop's not even Robocop. Peter Weller didn't return for Robocop 3 because he probably read the script. Instead, we have other guy playing Robocop, trying to pretend to be Peter Weller, which is bad. His voice doesn't even sound right at all. They could have gotten somebody a little bit closer. We also see Murphy. Is that right? I'm trying to... no. What's the partner's name? Whatever. The partner dies in this. Just to put a nice little end on this trilogy. Very unceremoniously. In fact, after she dies, she's killed by the Nazi guy. Robocop has to restart his memory to work right, and it goes through this sequence where he's picturing his wife, and then his partner, and then it fades into the doctor character, who was in, at least 2, I think, who's the one that actually, works on Robocop, and, it's kind of the Doctor Who face that's in the back of the credits, and it just evolves from his wife to his partner to her, establishing that she's the new female character in this franchise. Yay! Oh, whatever, we're never going to address that partner thing again. Apparently that actor really didn't want to be in this movie, and pretty much came down to, you have to kill me, I'm not doing one of these again, kill my character. And they kind of tease it a little bit. They put her in a few situations before she actually dies, where it looks like she might die. She gets surrounded by future gang of people. I don't remember what they're called, but something dumb. It kind of reminded me of Batman and Robin, the gangs, or the Warriors a little bit. They're really excessively silly-looking gangs that are trying to kill everything, apparently. Yeah. So yeah, a little kid, after partner is dead, Robocop gets sad and decides to join the resistance and help them out. He has this really kind of scene where he's looking at the Nazis that demand him to turn over all of the refugees, and he's like, Directive 3, obey the law. Objective 1, serve the public trust. Objective 2, protect the innocent. And he decides the two directives are better than the one, so he decides to help the refugee people. Then they kidnap the doctor through reasons, or they acquire the doctor who can work on Robocop because he took a grenade in the chest and doesn't function correctly. It turns out they stole Robocop's super upgrade to have a jetpack. There's a really bad jetpack scene at the end where he flies and wins a battle on the streets and then flies into the OCP tower and finishes the movie and then flies away. So, anyway, plot stuff. Yeah, they help out. There's a mole and other things happen. We get samurai robots, of which there are a number of them. Robocop loses arm and fingers and hands at various points, but has a gun arm attachment, so everything's okay. Something that is really interesting about this movie is there are a lot of people in the background that are actually pretty good actors in other things. Like, the one thing that really stood out is one of the guys in OCP who initially you think is going to be like the primary bad guy is Bradley Whitford, who's been in things like Cabin in the Woods and West Wing. And then he kills himself right off screen, shoots himself, and he's gone about less than halfway through the movie, which is a shame. Jeff Garlin is sort of in the background of one scene. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. Like, Rip Torn is hanging out, actually in a more major role. Like, if these people had been cast in an earlier Robocop movie, it probably would have been great. Bradley Whitford fits in perfectly with the OCP, but it's the writing. It's not the actors in this one. 100%. It's just really bad dialogue. It doesn't have the charm of the first couple movies. Which brings me to why it's in the IMDb Bottom 100. It is really bad, and there's a lot of bad effects, and the direction isn't great, but it isn't on the actors on this one. It's on the entire concept, really. They really shouldn't have made this movie if they couldn't get Weller back. It was a money play, I'm sure. The fault's really on the writing on this one. It's just really bad. The entire concept of focusing on the kid. I mean, this could have been so great. Of, like, the final battle to fight for, preventing the build of Delta City. It could have been so good, but it's written so badly. Just bad dialogue, bad characters, just lots of nods and winks to the other movies that aren't necessary. The Robocop jetpack. Killing the partner was also just so unnecessary. I mean, they had to do it because she demanded it to come back to the movie. But, yeah, just not even a little bit. It's just not good. The computer magic also wasn't needed. It was never established why this child could just hack into things magically. Now, this is not that. It's not like a Birdemic bad movie. I think this one's primarily fan rage. It's bad writing, yes, but is it a bottom 100 badly written movie? Probably not. This is like bad by Hollywood standards for sure, but it is not one of the bottom 100 movies, nor is it in the list anymore. But yeah, fan rage is a powerful thing. They changed enough things, Robocop killing the partner, sort of just messing with the style and the feel of the movie. It just didn't work, didn't cut it. And that's why people hate this movie so much. I've watched a few other reviews seeing what other people thought of Robocop 3, and almost universally it's because it doesn't live up to the rest of the franchise. Just the same way that people were just angry at the idea of rebooting Robocop. I mean, I just want to get it straight. There's nothing wrong with rebooting this franchise. I haven't watched the new Robocop, but I heard it wasn't that bad. At least the reboot inspired enough fan rage that people did our Robocop remake, which is hilarious. It's just a sequence of... it's each scene shot for shot done by different, like, comedy troupes and stuff, remaking the movie. It's pretty great. I would check out our Robocop remake. But yeah, the movie Robocop 3, if you want to complete the Robocop trilogy, yeah, watch it. It does wrap things up. You do get a sort of satisfactory final battle between, like, OCP and the people of Detroit. Robocop does a few cool things, I guess. Nothing's really great. There's nothing as cool as, like, the fight in the second one with Kane, or anything like in the first one, just the really cool, just wandering around doing Robocop stuff. That's probably the biggest problem with this. There's no just wandering around doing Robocop stuff for the most part. And also there's Robocop toys just hanging out in the movie. Like, Robocop's this legend that everyone looks up to, and that's just weird. I don't get that. But yeah, Robocop 3, watchable, not good. Not good by any stretch of the imagination. But, yeah, that's Robocop 3.
477 to dispatch. We have a code 3.
He was state-of-the-art in law enforcement technology.
You called for backup?
But the system thinks he's become too independent.
He disobeyed a direct order. I want to know why.
His friend was in trouble and he made a judgment call.
Too unpredictable.
They're saying he's gone underground.
Oh, there goes our PR budget.
Too human.
We have a warrant out for the arrest of Robocop.
Now the system's out to get him. Because he's fighting for the people.
Stay here! Fight for your home! If you want to get in there, you're going to have to shoot through us.
I don't have a huge problem with that.
Get them for me.
I promise.
All right, Mr. Robocop. Come and get me.
I must commandeer your vehicle for police use.
What issue? Problem, sucker! I mean, officer?
I hope you are insured.
I thought your damn ninja was supposed to take care of Robocop for me.
You are under arrest for assaulting an officer and destruction of police property. You may want to call the fire department.
Like you gone war wacky?
I think I'm in love.
He's taking the future. What? And giving it back to the people. Robocop 3.
How may I help you, officer?
By resisting arrest.